Alright, so this is Tila 16, and I'll start talking. So what I'm showing here is actually a campaign of Crusader King 2. And in this campaign, I already played quite a lot, so it's the continuation of my campaign. And as a result of this, I have quite a dynasty, which is well established. If you check this is my current king, called Hudalard, and he is the result of an extremely long succession of kings, which were all great. And my kingdom is Aragon, which is a very small faction at the beginning. Essentially, you start with only Aragon here, and then you need to expand. But the problem is that you have many powers which are pretty powerful around you. So, and you also have Islam, which is a constant menace on you. But since I did survive all this, and now I'm stuck in the chaos of having Christian faction all around me, and pretty much all North Africa has been conquered by Christian faction, which is surprising. And Spain is now under the control of different kings, including me in part. At the same time, you have some republics, which are a bunch of people which are controlling a few of my province, or at least province that I can claim. So what I do is I'm trying to get those province that are here. This is a really modest challenge, but the problem is that the enemy has very big armies, and I don't have much to oppose them. So let's get started. And also, this is my dynasty is not necessarily inherited by the first male of the family. As a result of this, this king is actually like the uncle or a nephew of my previous king. And I had to do that because my previous king had many sons, but the problem is that they were not recognized as being part of the dynasty. So I had to change the type of succession. So here we go, essentially it started, and now I have a banquet, and I will invite some friends, hopefully. And if everything goes well, the people will accept, which is unlikely actually. Okay, my spy master discovered a plot. What I'll ask people which is doing the plot is to stop it, because I don't want any issue of stability in my empire. As you can see here, I have my king has quite a bit of siblings, and I also have a lot of family all over Europe, because I've been playing this game for a while. And what's interesting about Crusader King is that you cannot really win this. At no point, well, you can win, I guess, but that will take you so long that you'll probably never manage it. So you're playing until you die, essentially. And with the type of succession I have, it might be difficult, because I can nominate anybody from my lineage. Now you can also see here my setup in terms of crown authority and management, but I did not really choose anything specific in there. I think my king have been really good at doing what they did. And also, I have a pretty strong dynastic influence. So my, for example, here I have a bonus in state diplomacy of 43, and my king is diplomacy. So my lineage is really strong. And when you look at the succession of kings I had, for example, family there. This one, he wasn't particularly good. This one, he was called the Great, so that means good. Here you have another, well, this one, he was pretty good as well. When he lived so long, he died at 82. Time to shape the empire. Then you have here the Just, well, the Great here, normal, and the Just. So I had a bunch of great king leading this empire, but at the same time, I will need to find a way to expand my empire. Might be difficult. Too sure how I'll do that because the thing is that sure I have Christian neighbors, which are probably less likely to ally themselves against me in a holy war than Muslim faction. But at the same time, many of them are really powerful, and I probably did like behind the development of my empire, which is a bit. So I'll see what I can do. By the way, if you guys have any ideas, feel free to say so because I can read your comments on the fly. Okay, so I also have a few of my province which are divided between other factions somehow. So for example, this guy here, I think I can actually declare war for a territory which is here, which is in large part under my control, but he still is a count of something in there. So while I do have some territory here, I'm not always in control of everything. Also have this province here. But the thing is that what I think I'll need to do is I'll need to develop the economy, gain some money in order to wage war against the Republic, which is controlling those regions here. And hopefully my allies, which are not as numerous as before. I used to have 11 allies, but with the succession of my leaders, I lost a few. But hopefully, if I can get my allies to be at peace, perhaps they will help me in a war against Genoa. Genoa, actually. Thing is that Genoa is really big. Yeah, they have all the territory in North Africa at the moment. Bit of an issue. Here, I'll try to make an alliance with King of Will, essentially. Will probably help me stabilize my relation with England. Has been a little dangerous because I had for a long time a territory which is right there. Here I need to educate that child. See, I think I will improve the capacity to spy because that might help me make some order into the empire near me. I still have this guy here, which is a king of and my family, but I had many war against Castile because they had some of my territory, which was right here, and I did try to them quite a few times, so that ended up making them lose a few territory around here. And Leon, which used to be really powerful, is now divided in many factions, which is something I should probably take advantage of. We'll try to perhaps build some claim on Leon territory. Also, since they are usually factions that emerge from Leon itself, sometimes they don't necessarily have powerful allies, so that might be war. Spymaster. Now, as you can see here from the numbers here, video, but My vassal and advisors are really loyal to me. Don't know why, but my lineage of king are really appreciated. It's probably because I'm not asking much. Probably does help quite. At the same time, here it's telling me to choose a succession, but I'm holding on this since right now it's the son of my king, which will become heir of throne. But at the same time, I don't know if as we get as my king get older, if he will be as good later on, and there might be more people which are better edge. Game is a lot about building your family and stuff. We'll see. At the same time, my king objective is to become what's called the paragon of virtue. So I will buy indulgence, prove his piety. But the Pope brought me into being an example for mankind. This guy was offering me to the family, well, children, to teach him about all his knowledge. I found somebody better. While here I have an ally which is asking me to join him into a war. I think I'll decline, even though it might cost me a little prestige. The important thing with this game, it's all about reaching the maximum prestige level, essentially, and you do that just by surviving, essentially. You end up having prestige, which is cumulative, that you see on the right. You're able to read it, but see. This is a game which is really fun. This guy relaxing kind of because it's really long in time. So you can play this for ages. I think you can probably play this full time for a month and you won't because Europe is huge as you can see. It's go pretty far. Also have Africa which you can conquer. And to be honest, conquering territory in this is not necessarily the goal. Your goal is simply to survive as a dynasty. To survive, it can be fun, and sometimes you can survive a few generation, but then there one problem: they kill all your potential successor. You end up your dynasty dying. It can be very sudden. That's something which is fun in this game. So you might end up really losing your quickly. Okay, so the guardian for that child. Child will put in economic because you need to diversify your them a little in terms of skills because you might want your edge child to be good in specific domain, so you can, for example, name them chancellor or marshal roles like that. Good. The wife of my king is pregnant. Because the more child you have, the more likely you are to survive in the time. Trying to build some claim against that faction take forever. Perhaps I should simply capture back the territory there. But the thing is unclear if it's even worth it. Daughter, which hated. Now the thing is that what you do is you do alliance by marriage. That means that, for example, here I have one of your kinswoman Actually, I need to marry her to somebody, and here you have the Duke of Bavaria, which has blue ribbon around the circle, and that means that if I marry him with that woman here of my kingdom, I will become an ally with him. So that means that you can really develop your alliance using marriage. At the same time, what that might create is that to make an alliance by marriage with a stronger guy than you or empire than you, he might end up attacking you and claiming your territory, which will be a bad situation. What I'll do now is we'll declare a war against this, and I will annex this part of his kingdom to mine, raising my armies. Will direct them all province. So that should be a very short war, especially since this faction is actually at war with somebody else. We make hit a great moment to pull a war on him. That allows you to capture his territory while he's busy elsewhere. At the same time, his war against somebody else might reduce his capacity to fight you a lot because his army will have been weakened by wage war against somebody else. Time decide to focus on you. That's why declaring a war, like, especially against a strong faction, no matter what claim you have on their territory, might even if they are at war with a lot of enemies, because they might end up simply declaring war on you. So now I'm sieging here, probably that territory here. There's a church as well, and these provide troops and money. So it's cool. Also, it's territory that you can give to your children and support here. I can make this guy marry somebody, so I'll try to marry somebody good at spying, because this member of my lineage is good at spying, and by marrying somebody which is good at spying, he might become super good at spying, and as a result of this, I end up having a good spy master part. Okay, now the siege is progressing. I will accelerate that by attacking the castle. I have over 16,000 troops. It will go quickly. But the thing is that even though you don't necessarily have many enemies, they are defending the castle. That might be rather difficult sometime, and it's all a question of morale. Being the morale of your army high. Well, here what I'm doing is I'm actually assigning some generals which are a member of my yes, assigning them to the army. That will improve the efficiency of the army fighting. And you can see here that the enemy is actually sending recapture the territory, which I'm trying to chase, but fast. So he has 7,000 troops, and way more than he does. So you can see here the battle progressing. You can see in more or less detail what's going on. And essentially the green line is the morale of the enemy army. Toasted, the army is pretty much breaking off, and so you can also see a kind of interaction with the arrows, and can read more details about what's going on. That now I have essentially 3 core of army attacking your enemy. I think that's an army which seem to be I had the victory. Now the enemy is retreating, but I'm chasing them down. Oh, Farah, which I'll just try to wipe out the seven there. What? The war has ended. Exclusively. Don't know how they end up managing to have that as a conclusion. So it's because his war against Leon has been exclusive. Since Leon is the kingdom over that duke uh, was taking a war with him, Leon now has kind of won the situation. I can no longer wage war here, and back under Leon, and I'm not at war with Leon. Same time, I could probably declare war on Leon. That might be very risky because they are powerful, but at the same time, they are really divided. They are under internal war. I'll just try to wipe out the. Here, I will stab in there. Make the style a diplomat. What? The war has ended. Have an. I will organize a grand tournament, and grand tournament are an intrigue that you can actually organize that tournament, and event will happen during that tournament, and these different element will influence your king and also the relation of your with his vassal. So that may mean that we'll have to well, you might increase your relation with your the courtier, I guess. So your count will like you or dislike you depending of the result. And all this will have also an impact on your king abilities. So it will generally influence your that might make him better permanently or sometime temporarily. So that's the kind of thing that might influence the development of your. For example, this is a result of the grand tournament. One of my baron, or might not be one of my baron actually. Baron, he was wounded during the tournament. So this is unfortunate, or I can say, well, don't bother me with that. I don't care. Pending the answer, I guess that has some. Probably choose a successor. Okay, now still another event related to the tournament. Gil de Saint Cugat has been crowned the winner of my grand tournament. Truly deserve it, so that relation with um this other member of my court reached a second place, so awarding him as well, and really it improved the relation with those vassals. And it's really important to keep a good relation with your vassal, because if you don't, you will end up having the war within. Now you can see here that the tournament is over. Now uh, it's time to bask the glory. So essentially, the tournament gave me opinion. Everybody that participated. So it's all the list of vassal that you that put in right there. everybody's happy in my empire. So what that does is that I won't have to endure a problem within my. I really think I should declare war Leon because he seemed to be fuzzy within his border. And what you see here is different cause for which I can declare war on him. And this is practical because, for example, if you have somebody which has some claim to their territory, you can use that person to attack Leon, saying, "Oh, the power should go to that person." Then you end up having an independent kingdom. From there, you can potentially ask that kingdom to join you as a vassal, or you can simply declare war against that kingdom, assuming you have the right claims for their territory, and conquer that territory. Time it's unclear. May happen once you somebody in power. Okay, so I think I will retry to claim the territory I tried to conquer earlier, but I just do that, and I will hope that my army of vassal is greater than the enemy army, so that I will be able to gain the territory. Here that there is a war, and the enemy army is about 12,000. My army seems getting to be bigger than that. That there's 1,000 defenders. Territory. But the thing is that while I'm controlling the territory now, it's not mine yet. I'm buying it, but it's not a big army of 21,000 enemies. So, yeah, afraid of. So what I'll do is I'll pull back, and I will compensate my small hiring some mercenaries. We'll about 1,000 more should be. Now I'll try to pull back. So my army to pull back, and they have a defeat from that. But at the same time, what matter is to preserve my army. So here my mercenary are 6,000 strong. Will put my army as a good term of number as Leon army there. And here you might not see that on the video, but there's a small skeleton or skull the army, and that means that this army is so big that it has the plague. So there's a sickness is reducing their number. So making a war last might help you gain some advantage over the enemy because the plague will reduce their number. So that's a cool thing in this game. Now that my mercenary and my merged, assign some good generals for troops. That. And here in the center, you actually have the general of the mercenary. So this is a game which is largely influenced by statistic. That's why sometimes having a good general can be really good, while having a bad general is usually terrible because you can end up losing a battle in which you have way more troops than they. That can be very bad in a war because the fact that you win a war or lose a war depends largely on the result of everything you do in it. So, for example, if you see here, the progress of the war is that so far I only have one defeat. That's the influence. On the other hand, I have captured some territory, which give me an advantage of Well, I'm about 16% progressing toward victory in that war. That's something that you need. Well, you need to improve the amount of percentage you're winning the war, and when you reach around 100 or in that range, you can probably negotiate the end of the war at 90. Well, when you reach that, you can force your demand. Otherwise, you're pretty much stuck asking for a white piece, which usually reduce the prestige of your or of whatever faction declared a war in the first place. But it's not that consequential. It's just that it's important to be able to enforce your demand, because then usually there is a bonus in money because you can claim time. You gain prestige from that, and prestige is what this game is about mostly because you want to get the most prestige. I can see that actually I'm sieging Leon, but at the same time, one issue I have with that is that my troops have the plague, and now you have an enemy army which is so that will be a very interesting battle. Because while you don't really fight any battle, it's mostly all that fight the battles. The war play an important role, but at the same time, I think you can actually claim a lot of territory just by diplomacy. War is not the main interest. Also, what's fun about this game is all the random stuff that can happen. For example, during a battle, your king wounded, like it's the case here. And now what that does is that it gives my king the trait wounded, and that reduces marshal's skill and health. Good. Anyway. While he's wounded, I should probably eliminate Successor. I believe will be this is. Yeah, doing fine. Like the company of others. So I seem to be winning the war against his army. But here's the thing, if Leon is actually rich, he might end up raising an army of mercenary out of nowhere. So even though sometimes you can be winning the war, the result of the war can change. That's something all about. And sometimes you might end up having an ally coming out of nowhere that you did by alliance with the marriage, and might come and totally destroy your armies. Also, what's important to know is that as you keep your vassal army uh, raised, your vassal don't like that. So here, the fact that I'm still having their troops in my army is reducing their appreciation of by -7. So if I wage a war way too long, ultimately that might end up making my war on my king. Yeah, careful about that. Mostly sieging place. About to are fleeing, and what I'll do is I'll chase them down. The reason why I really want to wipe them out is because back first of all. Secondly, I want to release my mercenaries quickly because something are actually costing me quite a lot, and about the plague, I think the plague seemed to be related mostly to the army itself. Sometimes it spread to the village. while at the time it seemed to be only related to the army itself. Yeah, specific to the army, like an attrition, because your army is so big that you won't be able to sustain it. It might not necessarily be the plague. It might be, for example, a lack of resources. Your army doesn't have food, an attrition. You can see here that it's an attrition of 2.9. It tells you what it is. About what is the blob of France? Asking. It's actually under the control of the Republic of. Are actually costing me quite a lot, and the Republic, which is right here. So and about it's under the control of that republic. The plague seemed I don't know how they did manage to defeat. Related much, mostly to the army itself. Sometimes it spread to the really a messed up campaign. While at the time, it seemed to be only related to the army itself. That's interesting. Yeah, specific to the army, like an attrition. Faction which your army is so territory, big that I wanted you won't be able to as revolted against the king. It might not necessarily be the plague. It might be, for example, a lack of resources. Your army doesn't have start a war against that faction. But now my war against Leon is over. You can see here that it's an attrition of 2.9. This tiny piece of land, or this piece, that tells you what it is. All goes wrong all the time. Guess what I'll do now is I'll just leave my vassal alone. I'll accumulate some money for another war. Okay, that seems war here. 7? Was it? Okay. My province, which is there. I'll raise my vassal army. I don't seem particularly happy about all the war, which I'm here that I'm at war again. And you have a neighbor, actually that's one of my vassal, which has decided to start a war there as well. So we'll have to beat them all. One member of the lineage. About everything during the war. Okay. Asking my ally, which is here. One of those war. I have quite a few enemies now. A little worrisome. But that's usually the result of too many wars. Signing thrones. Okay, good. Now you can see that my ally decided to join the war with me. As you can see, the Kingdom Castile is actually really powerful. Troops. While I'll be busy reconquering, I guess they will destroy those faction here. At the same time, which is important to do is to keep in mind that you do a certain amount of troops each something. So if you want to win a war, you need to capture castle, and if you have less troop than the garrison of the castle, then you're not able to capture the territory. terrible king. So you're saying my voice is overlapping, or is it just me? I will require some investigation. It's usually the result of too many wars. But now my war against Leon is over. Here that it's an attrition of 2.9. This tiny piece of land, or this piece, will be fixed now. Hopefully. Yeah, just in case you guys didn't wonder, it's the first time I do a live broadcasting on YouTube, so it's a kind of a test. Learning the rope. Wow. Here that this faction actually managed to raise an army of 9,000. There. Also, my allies seem to have up out of the war. Perhaps I should ask him again to join me. Call him to arm. And now what I'll do is also I'll disband my army. Early. And what I'll do now is I'll raise an army of mercenaries. Because first of all, the fact that I use my vassal to wage that war irritate my vassal even more. Batting. And then the mercenaries are a good option. To fight your own vassal. Raise an army of mercenaries. The problem with the mercenaries is that you need to wait for them to their morale. And also the mercenary costs way more than having your own troops raised. You have an army of 7,000, which is good. Might as well disband my mercenary. Okay, let's see. Okay, good. Of my my spy master actually managed to build a claim on the of where's that? Supposed to have claims now on the count, but I have no idea where that is. Build that county right. So the mercenary approach did not go too well. At the same time, I'm winning the war at the moment, so perhaps what I could do would be to ask for a white peace. The thing is that these are my vassals. Thing is that, yeah, I'm not winning the war enough. That's something also in this game is that sometimes you might want to win a war, but sometimes the context is just not in your favor, so you need possible. Don't. For example, here I'm by 17%. So it's either you surrender, and sometimes surrendering might be a good idea, especially if you're the one that started the war, and it's not going well. Yes, you can do that, but depends. Not go too well. All a matter of contextual. You can see that Castile is sending pretty big army to take care of the rebel army, which means that might allow me to win the war quickly. And I guess that just proved the worth of having good allies. That's also something which is interesting in that game, is that you can literally use your ally to achieve. Is now the army there. Winning the war, 39% won. I will offer a white piece because what this does is that I don't really care about suppressing my. Care about having peace in my kingdom. Here I need to educate style. Yeah, Genoa is really the. And I guess that just proved the worth of having good allies. How they managed to have so much territory. That's around. Also something which is interesting in that game, is that you can literally use your ally to achieve. Okay, so I did manage to finish one war. Now was a war for that region here. Now it's very likely that I'm able to finish that war soon. Well, winning the war, as his army has been defeated by my ally. I will offer a white piece because what this does. And what's interesting in this game is that even though I'm not particularly expecting about the kingdom I already have, my king is still gaining a lot of recognition for his management. Can end up being having a kind of great king, even though he doesn't do anything specific other than maintaining his power. So that's the fun thing about this game. So much about oh look, you have that territory which is Japan war, and you it out to win. You can win by other means. I think this game is what I would like Total War to become in terms of. While this game doesn't have any battle, I think it has a campaign of great value, especially with all the random stuff. Also, since there's no real end to it, it's also a fun thing. Play that game for the purpose of playing that. Just a good relaxing. So I did ask for peace, white peace to my vassal. Guess I did wage too many wars. Better. I did put my vassal into jail. Go check. I will just release them. I won't ask for any ransom. Happy within my kingdom. Sake of declaring war to me while I had powerful friends. To release from prison. Asking me to release somebody from prison. I just did. Everybody like my king. Also a fun thing. Those that just revolted themselves. Play that game for the purpose of playing that. just a good relaxing. Anybody has any suggestion about what to do now? Is there anything I can put my vassal
that's a
into
fixation.
jail? So I'm saying that about war. I still want to expand my. I really wish I could capture back this, but I don't know how I can do that. Perhaps I could fabricate claims, or perhaps need to capture this without using war. Part because Genoa is actually much bigger than I am. I have all this thing. Old. Wife is 35. Still have children. Same time, this king doesn't seem particularly good to achieve anything so far. Still working on Aragon of Virtue. I will try to make by buying indulgence. So the Pope will sell me paradise faster, I guess. We'll try to search the Pope. That will help my cause. I could request, Genoa to be excluded by the Pope, and from there I could call a crusade against them. Not sure if I will be able to do that in a short time. In terms of technology, I'm pretty
Same time,
advanced.
this king
Doesn't seem particularly good. Here, try to do what I just will change the law so I can perhaps name, and perhaps from there I'll be able to buy Bishop Klein or Pope. There I'll be able to Genoa fact, and there they will be at war with all Christianity. Perhaps I will be able to a province or two. Sure, it will be only one province. Like you're creating a big fuss about a whole piece of land. Thousand troops. Make anti-pope. How powerful is that pope in terms? Well, here you will become a pope. We'll try to make him possible in terms of pope capacity. Up. At this, Genoa actually has 33,000 troops. have any capacity. Yet they have at least 3 provinces, which other than speeding up the time at the moment, how powerful are my neighbors? At least most of my close neighbors are friends. Now here you can see actually the plague going on. All smoke down. More the plague than attrition. To claim Iceland. We're actually at war with people. Traveling poet who calls himself a bard arrived today. Do with that. A good for nothing nobody. Does anything wrong, I will break every bone in his body. As long as you stay away from me, you can stay as long as you like. Stay away from me. Bye. Bad for diplomacy. The world, according to opinion, will have high opinion of my passion between this slumbering beneath, woken to life with lover touch. It was hot, fierce, wonderful, love-making, have fertility. Might have chanced. Wife is 36 years old. There's a good spy master. So I will find him a wife, which is good at spying. Result of this, have a good spy master. Spy on Genoa. Spy master is already will create disrupt. Now I'm sending my spy master to Genoa, and there I'll be able to hopefully create a disorder within Genoa. So try to touch with the Pope. Do we want to get married? Wife died. What is he good at? So I'll wife, which is money. Okay, the Pope is upset by our law of free. The Holy Father says by with church doctrine. able to silence him. Hope is corrupted. What else can I do about him? Ecuador and his wife, the Ritz, has arrived from their performance range from vulgar satire to political spreading in between, including song and poem of courtly love. What do I do with them? For those two, they came here last year. They will be paid well, I assure you. We might will be charitable. He is now 55. Still hasn't reached the level necessary paragon of virtue. Yes, I will buy indulgence at the moment. I will do that. Point. Here, marry her. That. Back into the positive in terms of money. Thing. How to become something. Feed that child. Do that. Thing is that what is important to understand about how you choose how to educate the children of your that if you it's a boy will likely remain into your kingdom. A girl, she will likely be married to somebody and go away. So what that means is that if you're investing into military with a girl, it's a skill which she will use serving another empire. While if you do that with a boy, well, it will remain to your empire. Of course, you can still marry your lineage in matrilineage. For example, if it's a girl and she will remain into your kingdom, but at the same time, it's really rare to find can have five ally. Wife is pregnant. Good. Thing is that the more kid you have, the more you have. There, higher. So alliance, but at the time, there's not many people from level which are available to be married. One Fort Chaplain. Wow, he's at everything. I guess. That might even be a good successor to my king. That. So 33, 12, 11. Current successor is a little better at money. Rest is work. By them by religion. Back in French. Oh, 33. Might not be a direct descendant. Or I guess children around. Probably about to be able to be buy some indulgence. Ends will likely make my king able to achieve ambition, the paragon of virtue. And what that does when you achieve your ambition is to actually improve your prestige, which this king is actually low in prestige compared to my previous king. I think I need to reach the probably either 400 or 500 in IT. About that. Sadly, he went to serve another king. It was a pretty good word of family. The way he probably would have ended up bad. Start to spy on the Pope. Search economy. Prove my marry one of daughter of my king. Guy from Jerusalem. Will likely give pain in terms of war, which I don't seek, but good ally. A little far from me though. Problem. Hold a feast. Another event which improve your relation with your vassal as well as the population. Holding a feast or that kind of activity can reduce the chance of having rebellion within. Those rebellion can be pretty. Spend a lot of money on food. And inviting everybody. We go. proven diplomacy, and also a general opinion of 5. That's a way to improve. So now that the feast is done, I think I'll take a break. The live feed. I hope those that actually took part enjoyed it. For the time, I'll see you on my video or next live feed. If you guys like it, tell me.